Before I jump straight into the video, I forgot to actually tell you what this video is about. So essentially I'm having a discussion with one of my friends that studies medicine about what it's like to do medicine at Oxford, hence the title. But I realised I didn't actually do an introduction, so yeah, this is it.
Is it definitely playing? Not playing. Oh.
Is it playing? It is. It is playing. So this is Polly.
Hiya.
She's a medic. She's been on a video before, so some of you may recognise Polly. I think she's been in multiple videos against her will.
I'm always with Rosie.
So, as I said, Polly's a medic. So what is like a brief kind of introduction to the things you study in the first 3 years?
So the first 3 years, unlike medical degrees at lots of other places, at Oxford you're split into preclinical and clinical. So preclinical, you do 3 years which are basically like hardcore science. One of those years is sort of like an intercalated BSc where you like pick a particular topic and do lots of that. But for the first 2 years everyone does the same, and they're like all just very, very scientific, all medical sciences, but yeah.
Yeah, everything he seems to do is like actual science. So.
Yeah, loads of animal models, which is a bit funny when you're studying humans, but it's all very relevant.
So how different is it to like A-level?
Oh, it's so different to A-level. Like, I feel like we're in the 3rd term now, and I feel like I'm only just like properly adjusting to how different it is. Like at A-level, especially if you're used to doing loads of sciences, you're used to having like a syllabus and going away and like learning each point of the syllabus really well, whereas here they just throw information at you like all the time, and you just like at the beginning you're like, oh my god, I need to learn this all, and then you realise that you have to sort of like pick and choose what you're going to learn, which is weird, but you know, you learn to deal with it. And it's like, it's really interesting because unlike it's with science at school where you sort of stop at a certain point, like they tell you something and you just have to accept it, like here, like if you want to learn how something works, like you just keep on going until you're like with the expert who's like telling you what's going on at the moment, what they're discovering now, and then you're like, whoa, probably don't need to know this much about this. But yeah, it's really cool.
So, do you have labs, and if so, how many a week, and what do you do?
So we usually have maybe 2 labs a week. So they're split in, the labs we have every week are histology, where you just sit with a microscope for ages and draw lots of things in your book.
I'm going to draw a picture of a mouse!
They're less fun, but I mean, they're cool. And then there's the dissecting room, which you go into for like an hour and a half a week. That's quite intense, but it is like a really good way to learn anatomy because it's like there and it's very relevant.
So what do you dissect, Polly?
Humans, dead people.
I see dead people.
We don't actually dissect the humans. They're already there, chopped up, and like we just look at them, but it's really interesting. You just, I'm not such a fan of when the humans have heads, but it's a good way to learn. That's interesting. But we also have sometimes we have like pharmacology practicals where we play about with drugs. But like they're really cool. They're actually really relevant. You can see, apart from when we broke the heart, but like you can really see like how drugs work and stuff. And then sometimes we do biochemistry practicals. We did a really long chromatography one once. That was quite an afternoon. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so sometimes, but yeah, like the majority of the practicals we do are histology and dissecting, with the occasional like random pharmacology or biochemistry one in there.
So what kind of lectures do you have?
So we have probably about 10 lectures a week, sometimes slightly more or less. So they're divided up by the modules we're doing. So we have biochemistry and genetics, organisation of the body, and physiology and pharmacology. And then we also have like a sort of module called medical sociology, which we have lectures for, but that one's like not as important as the other ones. But yeah, so we have lectures on those, and like usually the lectures run in series with like a particular lecturer doing like a set of like 4 or 5 lectures on a particular topic. But yeah, so that's what we do, and they're usually in the Medical Sciences Teaching Centre, and they're about an hour long each. And you just have to sit there with your PowerPoint and make notes and desperately hope that you understand what they're saying.
It's a giraffe!
So are they once a day or more than once a day?
So probably on days we don't have practicals, we usually have about 3. Although today we only have 2. It's crazy 3-day white, which is why I'm here. And then yeah, days we do have practicals, we sometimes have 1 or 2. So yeah, they average out to about 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah, you see, I have 1 a day, bar Friday where I don't have anything, and this term I don't have any lectures, so...
Yeah, just to put that into perspective, everyone else is having a nice chilled Trinity. We've got exams at the end of this term, which is great, because, you know, revision would be nice. But medicine, they're like, okay, you've got an 8-week term, your exams are in 9th week, we'll give you collections in 0th week. You then have a 6-week term and you'll have exams in 9th week, and you've got the whole of like 7th and 8th week to revise. But instead of just like giving us a chill 6 weeks, they've squished everything that they would have put into 8 weeks into 6 weeks. So it's quite intense. But you know, being a doctor's intense too, so it's nice practice.
But do you write essays though?
Shockingly, we do write essays, which I didn't know was going to happen until I got here. So if you're thinking of coming to Oxford to do medicine, essays are a big deal. So if you don't like essays, maybe reconsider. But I mean, you learn to like essays, and it is a good way to learn it. Like, you get really into like the topic, and you like, if you've got to write it out and explain it in that much detail, then you get to know it really well, and you really prepare for the tutorial and stuff. Like, I find tutorials where we haven't been set an essay, I don't really know the topic that well, because an essay is just such a good way to really get to know it. But yeah, so we probably get 2-3 essays a week, and each essay sort of comes with a tutorial, which is like a little lesson with a few of you and your tutor where you discuss it. But yeah, so the tutorial, basically you have like a tutor at your college who finds your different tutors to teach you different topics. So like, it's quite variable between colleges how many tutorials you have. So I mean, if you're really interested, maybe, and you're thinking of applying, maybe talk to different tutors at open days about how many tutorials they have, and like, but basically every college has a certain number of tutorials that be in different topics. And then the idea is that you really get to know topics that you're going to have to write essays on in the exams. Who is that? Is that
feel
Scout?
like the Scout might come in though. It'd be like, what?
She can join in and tell us about your week.
What's it like to clean?
What's it like to deal with us pigs all the time?
Speaking of time, do you get any free?
Basically, when you're, so I have no time, but in the college system, you live in college, your library is about 40 seconds that way. We've got the erg downstairs, like we're 15 minutes from the river. I row with Rosie. Rosie's coxing our boat in summer rates. But yeah, so basically with rowing and with medicine, I don't have that much free time, but you live with your friends, like there's loads of social events going on, like literally on site, like you find time, and you need to take time off. Like, there are weekends where I've been like, yeah, like I'm gonna work the whole weekend, spend the whole time in the library, and then like it just gets to 4 PM on Sunday and we're all like, pub. So yeah, you find time, you just become really efficient, and you also learn, like I was one of those people at school that was like, if I'm not doing well enough, I need to work more, whereas you sort of learn here, there's only so much you can work before you go insane. So you have to basically like rein it in, just accept you're doing as well as you can possibly do, and like you sometimes just can't do more work, and shouldn't, because like you don't want to become miserable. Like there's like they really push you here, so you need to like learn how much you can push yourself while still remembering why you're here and like why you enjoy it. So yeah, it's a balance, but I think we're all finding it, I hope, most of the time.
Yeah, I think as a humanities student, it's a lot easier to take yourself into a spiral of procrastination.
Yeah, that's true.
More because you're not kind of forced to do things in a small amount of time, which means you end up doing it in the same amount of time that someone with no time will do it.
Yeah.
And it's not, I haven't learned yet.
We're first year, it's fine. I've got another 5 to figure it out. I'm here forever!
Okay. Where do you work?
So, in the first term or 2, I worked quite a lot in my room, but like I've learned that like it's almost better to keep your room as like a safe space. Like, and I remember like on there was like an Access booklet that I read before I came to Oxford that was like, if you're in a place where you've got access to so many like amazing libraries, why would you work in your room? So in general, I try to work in libraries. I think I'm better at working in libraries. We work a lot in Peter's library. I work quite a bit in Bodleian, and sometimes in the Radcliffe Science Library. I think that's what it's called.
I like that one.
So yeah, no, I try to work in libraries in general. Just because I think it's good to have other people around you when you're working for like oh dear, when you're working for like an 8-hour stint, you basically like, I just don't think it's very nice to do that by yourself in your room, like isolated from everyone else. So it's quite nice. Go to the library, get out some Skittles. I actually stopped buying food for the library because I keep on eating everyone else's food in the library, which is bad. But yeah, no, it's dreamy. What else will we talk about?
I don't know.
Reading per week, I guess.
Oh, what about your GP sessions?
Oh yeah, like once a term, maybe twice a term. We go to a GP in Oxford, and like we sit in with patients and talk to them a bit. To be absolutely brutally honest, I think that's more of a like, we don't really like learn that much in those sessions. It's more to just be like, this is why you're here, you're going to be a doctor, remember that. So yeah, but it is so nice to actually go to a doctor's surgery and be reminded of that, because it's very easy to forget when you've spent a long time staring at a cat kidney that you're not actually studying cats.
How big is a cat kidney?
Really small, really small. Did you know? I'm immediately going to regret saying this. Ovaries are the size of almonds, like human ovaries are the size of almonds. Like, that is stupidly small.
Ollie's doing sex and reproduction at the minute, can you tell?
It's been a dream.
Right? Easy.
It has been in no way awkward studying sex and reproduction.
Would you like to tell them about your tutorial?
Oh yeah, we had a surprise. So basically we had a meeting about our tutorial times for endocrinology. Endocrinology, hormones, big topic. Like, you can talk about a lot of things. Turns out it was actually, we couldn't find a room in Peters, so it had to be like a public cafe. So we had an hour long tutorial in a public cafe. Turns out the guy's a gynecologist, so we basically just talked. We talked a lot about periods and a lot about sex. And I was just there like, woo, woo, woo. Could have done with some preparation for this. Woo. Woo. Why did I make that noise? Woo. Can't take that back. Woo. Oh dear. So yeah, no, that's it. What are we talking about? Why is this just not being about?
Anyway, we should probably end it there because we're talk about utter rubbish if we carry on.
Oh,
So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that anyone who is interested in studying medicine found that useful or just, you know, enjoyed it because they wanted to watch Polly.
Ooh.
I will see you in next week's video. Bye! You can say bye.
Yeah, sorry, bye. I hope you found this enlightening.
I'm sure they have.
Oh, I'm off to the library. I'll see you in a bit.
I don't know what I need to do now. I don't know what I'm doing.